and gentlemen of the internet, we live in a society. And in this society, your actions have consequences. This is not news to most people. To which I reference the classic F around and find out scale. The more you F around, the more you will find out. And so today we're going to talk about people, baseball players, who F'd around and have since found out the consequences. Constantly. Every time. Almost every video I upload to this here YouTube channel. I post Monday through Thursday about MLB The Show. Please subscribe. But in every video, I read the comments and I see, where's this legend? Where's that legend? The amount of times I read people suggesting legends who will never, ever make their way into an MLB The Show game is astounding. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about 5 legends that a lot of people often say they want in the game who will never, and I mean never, be in an MLB The Show title. It's just not happening. Welcome back to Whiteboard Wednesday. By the way, this is the MLB The Show series that features absolutely zero gameplay. It's me, Kenny, kdjTV, and a whiteboard. We talk about all sorts of topics every single week to try to have some fun, find out some answers, give you some tips, generally just waste each other's time. And again, I cannot stress enough, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers. I thought we wouldn't even get to 1,000 by this time this year. But if we get to 2,000 by the end of this year, I will give you all passionate, sensual kisses on the cheek. With permission, of course. And so without any further ado, here are 5 people who will never, ever be in MLB The Show. I lied. There's one last thing I have to say before we talk about these 5 individuals. This comes from the very official kdjTV legal department. 4 of the next 5 people we're about to talk about have some crimes allegedly related to them. I am clearly not accusing them of said crimes. I don't know what happened and what didn't. I am simply giving you all the information that I found on the internet. Please don't sue me. I have no money to give you. I guess another disclaimer to go along with this, we're about to be talking about some real serious stuff. We're not going to get too hot and heavy with the details, but there's some serious stuff in here, so trigger warning, I guess. The first human being we're going to talk about is Barry Bonds. He didn't do anything criminally wrong, depending on how you view the whole steroid situation, but he's not one of the people we just gave a disclaimer for. He's basically the biggest sweetheart of the whole group. Barry Bonds, repeat after me, will never be in an MLB The Show game. I understand why people want him. I think he'd be cool to have too. You would not catch me being upset if they added Barry Bonds to the game. But just stop wasting your breath. It's not happening. Barry Bonds, with his name, image, and likeness, has not appeared in an MLB title, and I don't just mean MLB The Show, I mean any baseball title, since 2003. What makes you think that's going to change? In the year 2003, November to be precise, Barry Bonds withdrew himself from the joint licensing agreement of the MLB Players Association. He did this, from what I read, because he wanted full control of his name, image, and likeness, thinking he could make more money that way. And to my knowledge, and based on my research, such a decision has not been changed. This is still his viewpoint. So that has brought about legends in MLB video games like John Dowd and Reggie Stocker. Those are basically just Barry Bonds without the Barry Bonds stuff. I cannot tell you definitively if Barry Bonds has made more money after this decision. Pretty sure he did just fine for himself, regardless of how much money he made from this decision. But because of this, there is no shot, 0% chance, he will be in an MLB The Show title. I'd be stunned if that changed. Oh, you want Josh Hamilton in the game? To that I say,
how about no?
Josh Hamilton's exclusion from MLB The Show, I would imagine, has nothing to do with his issues with addiction. Way back when I read the book that he co-wrote, I forgot who wrote it with him, I forgot what year it came out, I read the book. His story at that time was one of perseverance. Addiction is serious. This is me being real. If you have an addiction, you can get help if you so choose. But Josh Hamilton, once an up-and-coming star, a home run derby legend, a guy with a ton of power, truthfully, on the field, a lot of fun. But I'm going to read it here off the paper. In 2019, he was arrested and charged with injury to a child because he assaulted his oldest daughter. That, of course, is a terrible thing, and I hope the person who experienced the violence is okay. But because of that, no matter what has happened since with charges and this and that, it's a very complicated situation. If you go to his Wikipedia page, you can read about it. But because of that, there's no chance Josh Hamilton ever sees his way in MLB The Show. And again, I understand on the surface why people might want him in the game. I don't know if they're aware or not of the terrible things that have happened in Josh Hamilton's life in the last 4 to 5 years. But because of those things, I would just stop asking for him. We now move on to Albert Belle, who by all accounts is an absolute fucking Looney Tune. This is another one where I'm just going to direct you to his Wikipedia page. I will give you the spark notes, but there is comedic gold and also very scary things at the same time on that Wikipedia page about why Albert Belle is a lunatic. And again, I read from the notebook. He has a significant history of anger issues. Some people have anger problems. Some people can get those anger problems corrected. I don't think Albert Belle has. On Halloween one year, he turned away trick-or-treaters and chased them in his car. In 2006, he admitted to stalking his former girlfriend. He got in trouble for that. And in 2018, he had an issue with indecent exposure and DUI. According to my research, those charges were dismissed. And if that's the case, great. But still, a laundry list. A lengthy laundry list. A grocery list. After you haven't grocery shopped for a month. That's how many problems Albert Belle has in his life. And again, I'm not accusing. kdjTV Legal told me to say that. I'm not making these things up. I am simply reading what has been produced by journalists and researchers on the internet. But can we just talk about Albert Belle? There is a long, complicated, complex, that's another word that means complicated, sketchy, weird history with Pete Rose. I'm not here to talk about the morality of gambling. Sports gambling is very much a thing now. He did it when he was on a team he played for, allegedly, or maybe not allegedly, pretty sure he did it. So that, I don't know how much that truly impacts what we're talking about right now. What impacts what we're talking about right now is that I'm not positive that Pete Rose is a good person. He always comes across very gruff, very mean. This is me just personally kind of surmising things here. I've never met the guy. I could be very wrong. Honestly, I hope I am wrong, because I hope all people are good. I'm just a dumb, stupid, naive idiot. But I don't think Pete Rose really paints himself in a good corner. Also, in 2017, he got in trouble for a statutory rape charge. You shouldn't do that. I think that stemmed back to like the 70s. It was not a current thing. Doesn't make it any better. I'm just saying it was not like something that was happening at the time. The lawsuit was dismissed because of an agreement between both sides. That doesn't mean he's not guilty. It just means there was an agreement. So yeah, Pete Rose, not going to be in the game. You could argue about his Hall of Fame merits. I think that's a very separate and another equally as complicated conversation. Pete Rose was probably a great hitter. I also think he was an expert compiler. So, I don't know. You tell. Is Pete Rose a Hall of Famer? You tell me. Mets fans, you just got David Wright. And if you were hoping to pair him on the left side of the infield with Jose Reyes, to that I say, I'm sorry, it's not happening. Jose Reyes had a domestic violence incident in the 2015-16 offseason. He got suspended by Major League Baseball. I don't think any further legal action was taken. Based on my research, I couldn't find much. But there's a murky history with domestic violence allegations or things that have been proven to have happened, both in Major League Baseball and MLB The Show. We've seen how MLB The Show, SDS, has handled some cases. Andrew Jones might have had like a domestic violence incident, and he hasn't been in the game since that kind of came up. Kirby Puckett was in the game for a hot minute and then completely ignored. I'm not accusing anybody again. I don't know what happened. I'm just saying and relating the fact that how SDS has handled these things. So no matter what you think of Jose Reyes' incident, it happened with his wife, like I said, in the 2015-16 offseason. I believe it happened in Maui. It happened in Hawaii. Not that the location makes a difference. I'm just giving you more information. I don't think SDS would waste their time attaching themselves to someone who has a little bit of a history. Again, don't know what happened, but there's history. We say this and have this conversation, and I fully recognize the fact that people like Aroldis Chapman and Domingo Germán are still in the video game, and that is a separate problematic thing, I guess, depending on who you talk to. It's probably because they're still in the Players Association. Again, sketchy and weird and complicated and convoluted, and I don't know how the lawyers get involved in such a thing. I recognize that there's a double standard for current athletes versus retired ones. I'm just telling you some facts here. So what do you guys think? I'm curious to know. I know we just talked a lot about a lot of heavy stuff. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I've been asking a lot lately what new legends people want to see in the game. And the amount of times I see people say, like Josh Hamilton or Albert Belle or people like that, it's honestly pretty shocking. Maybe they just didn't know some of these things had happened, and that's okay. I'm hoping that I have educated people. And I also want to just say quickly, I understand forgiveness is a thing. These people should not be shunned from all of life for some of the things they did. Or I guess that's your opinion. But I do think we should not reward people who make these mistakes. There's a difference between forgiveness and rewarding. And having people play with you in a video game and getting paid for that right, that's a reward. I don't think we should do that. But that's it for this video. Again, please don't sue me. See you next time.